Hey Bookies, so today we are going to go over books I would recommend from my July TBR. So let's get started. For July, I read 18 books, and quite a bit of them I actually really liked. So I'm going to go over a few of them that I think that you should also be on the lookout for or read. The first one is going to be a book that I've been highly anticipating, and while there was a couple of letdown moments, overall I really liked this book. It is The Valkyries Daughter by Tiana Warner, basically RMC. She was kind of abandoned at birth. She is raised with these Valkyries, although she doesn't have a winged horse. She has a regular horse, kind of a regular horse, and she's forced to, muck the stables and stuff like that. But when there is a threat that comes and steals this orb that belongs to their seer and helps her see the future, it's up to her and one of the captured enemies to journey to I can't remember the Norse word for it, but basically the afterlife, to go and retrieve this orb. And on the way, our main character discovers things about herself that she might not wanted to have known after all. This is a great book. Again, it's full of Viking theming and stuff like that, and I love Vikings, love it. There was a couple of moments in here that I did not like. A little bit of transphobic comments that I hope that the author considers changing in future printings. But other than that, I really like this book, and it's sapphic. So 5 out of 5. I think I gave it 5 out of 5. Maybe it was a 4.5 out of 5. I can't remember. Next up is a sequel to a book that I read last year and I absolutely loved. It is Bloodlike Fate by Leslie Sambury. I'm not going to tell you what this book is about because obviously spoilers, but Bloodlike Magic is a really fun urban fantasy sci-fi book. It blends fantasy and sci-fi very well. In this, it's set in a futuristic America where there are basically people with magic abilities. It's kind of secret, kind of not. It's an open secret, I guess you would call it. But our main character, she is a part of this big family that has all of these powers, and all she has wanted in life is to have this awesome power and to be able to further the family lineage. So in this universe, when you turn 16, you go through what is called a calling. You complete the trial, you get your gift. It's given to you by one of your ancestors. Our main character, she got her calling, went through it, failed. So then they were like, okay, you're not getting magic. And she's like, no, I need it. And so they're like, okay, well, one ancestor's like, okay, well, I'll make you a deal. Pass this test, which is to fall in love with someone and break their heart within, they give us time frame. Or everyone in your family loses their magic. And the one person that she decides on is this CEO person, and the one person that she decides on has kind of this internship thing with this really big tech company that kind of controls a lot of the mundane activities in this alternate America, but they also have a really interesting secret that comes into play, and it might spell the doom for the family either way. It is super interesting. I highly recommend it. There is so much that goes on, and it's very diverse. I love it. Next up is Etta Invincible by Reese Eschmann. This is a fun book. Our MC is a graphic novel loving comic book writing heroine who has what her parents think is Meniere's disease. On top of a lot of other issues, the main issue that comes into play is that it makes her hard of hearing. So sometimes she has loud days, sometimes she has quiet days. And so it kind of makes it hard to make friends for her. When she befriends this kid and his dog ends up kind of stowing away on this magic train. They band together to go and rescue his dog, and a lot of stuff from her comics start to bleed over on this train. It's very, very interesting and highly fascinating, and I love the comic book strips in this one. So if you have a kid that's interested in like a blend of comics and regular books, I'd recommend this one. And the last one for the physical books that I would recommend from July is Golf Girl, Queen of the Universe by Lindsay Zrull. In this, our main character is a foster care kid who is moved into a new placement, new school, new everything. And it really goes a lot into the foster care system and how she is dealing with it and trying to find her mother when she gets a chance for that. Her mother is schizophrenic, I believe, and it's a lot about her dealing with her mother's schizophrenia, which I sympathize with a lot, seeing as how my mom suffers from mental illness as well. And along the way, she gets an her mother is like, hey, meet me in New York City this day. Well, one of the only ways that she can do that is to join this cosplay group and help them win competitions so that way they can get to the finalists, this big con up in New York. It's highly fascinating. I absolutely loved it. This is a tearjerker. It will make you cry. Now for some books that I don't have the physical copies of, but I am also recommending. I'm also recommending The Witchery by Isabelle, I believe is the author. In this book, it is told in 6 POVs, which is a little overwhelming, but the story is very fascinating. Basically, new girl moves to this town, joins kind of like this magic academy, and there is an incident with werewolves, and they are absolutely rampaging the town, so it's a lot about them coming together and stuff. The thing I didn't like about that book was that it felt more like a second novel than a first novel, so I hope that that got revised between the ARC and the finished copy, but it read so well that I have really high hopes for the finished copy. I just don't have the finished copy yet. I also read It's All in How You Fall, which is by Sarah Henning. Basically, in this one, our main character, she is a gymnast. She is one of the best gymnasts in the state, like kind of destined for a great job in gymnastics, until she lands on her back weird. She has already had existing back problems, but this one is the one that did it in for her. She is forced to retire. When one of her friends sees that she is kind of in a funk because obviously she's lost her life's ambition, what she has been doing since she was little, he invites her to join him, and every week they will do a different sport until they find something that she can enjoy, like she did with gymnastics. It's a very cute contemporary romance. I recommend it. I also really like The Curse of Spectacle Key by Chantel Acevedo. In this one, it's a middle grade horror book. In this one, our main character, his family are flippers. They buy out these like really big properties like train stations and churches. They convert them into homes. They sell them for really high bucks. So that means a lot of moving around. He's never really had a stable childhood. He's 11 and he's been to 11 different schools. He's moved every year. When his family promises him that this move is going to be the last one, that they're going to stay, and they decided to flip this lighthouse, he's all excited until they get there and discover it's haunted. So it's up to him to figure out how to stop the hauntings, and he uncovers something really, really cool about his family along the way. I listened to this for an early access audiobook. I really liked it. I thought it was so cute, and it was just super quick read. So if your little ones or you are interested in middle grade horror, that might be something you want to check out. And the last one that I'm going to recommend is Cake Eater by Allyson. Dahlin, yeah. Basically, this is a reimagined retelling of Marie Antoinette's life, but set in the year 3070 instead of like 1760s, whenever she was around. But it follows very close to her story, but it's set in the future, has a lot of futuristic elements. It's very, very fascinating. And in it, you might start sympathizing with Marie. So that is everything that I am recommending from my July TBR. Tell me if you have read any of these or if you're excited for them down below, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. bye.